and share. So let's see. Here we go. I can see some of you. Can you hear the music okay? Okay, good. Not too loud, I hope. So this is the, just going to get all my notes here. Oh, now it feels like it's getting a lot louder. Turn it down a little bit. And can you see the PowerPoint as well? Okay, good. Yeah, because it was just a spinning circle for a moment. So here we are, meeting the Harbingers. This is the first group, the first category of psychopomps that we are going to meet. And often, you know, harbinger is a word in itself that's one who calls. But we tend to associate a couple of other words with that word, that it's harbinger of doom is what we tend to finish as a statement in our minds. But it's not. They're not always of dooms. They are just the ones who call. As psychopomps, they're not technically psychopomps. They don't take us anywhere. They don't lead us anywhere. They don't guide us anywhere. They're not like some of the other ones that we'll meet as well, the comforters who are coming in to, you know, witness and support us and going through the challenges that we're going through. They're not like that at all. They are just giving notice that things are going to change. They are giving notice that something needs to be addressed. And we can ignore them. We can try to avoid them. But they are just reflecting, in truth, the inevitable. They are in the hero's journey or the Hera's journey. They are the call to adventure, the call to step onto the path. And so there is something of a very intimate relationship between the harbingers and the psychopomps. The harbingers are the ones who are giving notice that the ones who are going to arrive to take us to another place, they are on their way imminently. So there are many, many different harbingers. There are three that I tend to focus on. They're the true, pure harbingers, but I have, for our purposes, expanded it because there's other ways that slightly different reflections that might show up as well. But the first three are the true harbingers. We start with Babe. That's B-A-D-B. So she is one of the faces. We tend to know the Morrigan, right? The Morrigan is the Irish Great Queen. And as the Great Queen, she's got some iterations with, you know, Isis is a Great Queen, Rhiannon is a Great Queen. But the Morrigan is this Irish Great Queen who tends to be represented as a trio of goddesses, and Babe is one of those faces. So the Morrigan has Macha, which means the land, and as this face of Macha, there's this sort of sovereign war goddess aspect, that she is the protector, the defender of the land. And then there's this reflection of Nemain, and though we don't know exactly what her name means, there's an aspect of it which can relate to sort of, seizing or dealing out. So if you've got Matcha who's protecting the land, and Nemain who is bringing this frenzy, this dealing out, this meeting out of fury on the battlefield. But Babe is different. Babe, in her guise as the raven, tends to swoop and soar above the battlefield. She screams down to the warriors. She creates confusion and consternation, and so the way that she shows up to bring the call tends to be a bit fierce. There's no perhaps a bit fierce and a bit in your face. She will come down and there's no ignoring her. There's another Irish harbinger. Seems to be a lot in Irish lore, who is also quite fierce. And this is the Banshee. The Banshee. See, she, we call her a Banshee, but it's the she, S-I-D-H-E. The she are the fae, the fairy folk. So Banshee is the fairy woman. And what's interesting is that, fierce as she is, traditionally in Ireland, there were 5 families who had Banshee associated with them, and that they particularly had the purpose, the sacred purpose of informing these families of when somebody was going to pass, and that expanded out to be anyone at some point. There are different ways that the Banshee, so the Banshee is just, this is a fairy woman. There was also the Banchoint, which I'm probably not pronouncing right, who was the wailing woman. So just this depiction of grief, like the foretelling of what is to happen. There was also the Beanie, who was the washing woman, and you see this particularly in Scotland as well. Beware of the washerwoman at the river. Just keep walking, because it's just her. They're washing out the clothes, washing out the clothes, washing out the clothes. That is this message that it is time. Perhaps it is your time. The other aspect which is interesting, so because there's a Welsh version as well, which I'll talk about in a moment, but there's a lot of stories which connect the Banshee with a comb, that she has this precious comb. So Irish children were often warned that if you happen to see a comb lying there on there, just leave it. Again, walk on by, because if you pick up the comb that belongs to the Banshee, then she will come after you, just scream after you until you return it. But there's something which is interesting, I find, about this comb, that if there is some sense of like holding on to the past, of a beauty of the past, if there is, I would like to work with it as far as like untangling things that have gotten very knotted together, and that the call is that we need to stop and just sort through some things. And so again, though her call can be very blood-curdling and chilling, you know, the fact that she's connected with families, this connection with Combe, and you know, almost like this mortal aspect of her is almost a sense of a supportive role that she plays in warning us of what is to come. Then we have, oh, I forgot, totally forgot about Baron Samedi. So he's Voodoo. He's very often pictured with his wife, Mama Brigitte, although I don't have her here because she's not a harbinger. Baron Samedi and Mama Brigitte, we will actually meet them again because they are threshold. Well, he's a threshold guide. They're also passage guides. Many psychopomp rules that they play, but as a harbinger, it said that if he is found if he's digging your grave, it is your time, and there's nothing that you can do to stop it. But it's sort of the flip side is true as well. You could be deathly ill. You could be on what everybody assumes to be your deathbed, but if he's just leaning on his shovel and he's refusing to dig your grave, then you will not be dying. So he really is the one who, just in his actions, gives that reflection of what it is that is coming. The other thing, though, that is interesting about, so if Babe is fierce and the Banshee is strident, but perhaps a bit supportive, Baron Samedi is irreverent. He is provocative. He is bawdy. He's, you know, all about the drinking and the smoking and the jokes, and there's just this irreverence that he brings. It's like it's just life, and it's just death, and so there's this when he comes and brings the call, there's perhaps a sense of levity that he brings, even though what is happening might be disconcerting. I didn't mean to laugh, but there were 3 birds that literally just, so perhaps a little Rhiannon showing up as well, as a bit of a call. Then we have the Welsh Cehraith, and the Cehraith is similar to the Banshee. Her name is a composite of 2 Welsh words, and the composite of the energies of them give a sense of how her energy is different from the Banshee. So Cehir means muscle, and Hewraith is that, you know, untranslatable Welsh word that is it's this sense of longing or yearning for something which can never be revisited. You know, it's like the Hewraith that we have for, well, even the past, we can't ever go back there, but we can have a longing for it. So the Cehraith tends to reflect a specific longing for the flesh again, or for what was, you know, wailing for what was lost already, rather than warning of what is to come. And there's an aspect of Cehraith as well, which has a river or a stream aspect to it. She can have a washerwoman element as well. This picture here seems to have that sense of it. So those are the 3 or 4, I guess, if we've got Baron Samedi as well. Traditional, harbingers. But then we have, I had this sense of working with the fates, with these you know, sort of like the Morrigan having these three faces, or even the Banshee, who is like the Banshee, and as the washerwoman or the wailing woman. Like there's these different faces that they show up. So looking at this triple sisterhood in Greek mythology, it is the Moirai, that we tend to call the fates. And there's always the one who, in these three energies, the one who kind of, creates the weave, what is the fabric that is being woven. And then there's the other that measures out and has this sense of passage, of time passage. But then there's the one who has the scissors, the one who cuts. And that has an energy which is similar perhaps a bit to the harbinger, the one who's saying it is time and it is done. So in the Moira, in the Fates, that is Atropos, and her name translates as the inevitable. In Norse tradition, these are the Norns. And the Norns tend Yggdrasil, the world tree. They are at the roots of the tree, and ensure that it stays alive, that this center of the cosmos, that this which connects all the worlds is kept healthy and turning. And so again, these three faces. There's Skuld, what shall come to pass, the mysterious one, the future. There is Urd, the oldest, who is the weird, the what has passed. And then there is the one that is this young energy, that is what is current, what is coming to pass. So it would be Skuld, who would be similar to Atropos, that which is coming into to being, the one who tears apart the work that has been put together by the other two. The Romans had a version as well, and because of course they tended to take everything that the Greeks had created and put it in a bit of a different terminology. So the Roman fates were known as the Parcae, and they were the female personifications of destiny. And so similarly, again, that you have Nona, who sort of determines the spin of a life, and Decima, where we have the decimal system, right, that measures it out. And the one who cuts is Morta, that she is the one who determines what the ending is going to look like. There is a sense of a different level of vibrancy, perhaps, even though the energies are very similar. But I tend to feel, how to put it, the Norns have this strength, this hardness, this almost like a challenge to them. And the Greeks, the fates, have this gravitas to them, and the Roman version perhaps has a little more energy or vibrancy. But again, that's just how I have tended to connect to them. Very similar energies, but slightly different flavors to the way in which the information is conveyed. And then we have completely non-traditional, not coming from any sort of ancient mythology at all, but one that felt important to include. And these are the Weird Sisters. This comes out of the Discworld novels by Terry Pratchett. And so you have the young one, who is Margaret Garlick, she's just learning all about them. And affectionate and, very sort of solid, down to earth. And but then you have Granny Weatherwax, and I tend to have her as in that same energy as the Harbinger, perhaps, the most highly regarded, very wise but sharp, and fierce in her connections, in the way that she engages. So these are our 7 harbingers. And here again, breathe an openness to whoever it is that is coming to you to work with you. And pick a number between 1 and 7. If you picked 1, it is the banshee who comes to you. If you picked 2, it is the Norns. Three is Bave. 4 is Keharaith. 5, where are they? Oh, I don't have them here. 2, 4, 6. I should have them here. Where are they? It's the Parkai, but I'm not seeing them on here. But it's the Parkai. That's funny. And 6 is the Fates, and they're up there at the top. And if you picked 7, you have the Weird Sisters. Oh, I hadn't had Baron Samedi on there. That's the thing. So, let's shift that then. If you chose 5, it is actually Baron Samedi, not the Parkai. So just breathe that in. Who it is that you will be working with. Who is the one who brings the call? to pay attention to how you take in information. How is it that you know that it's time to move in a different direction? Time to pick something up, time to let go of something. Is it done with irreverence? Is it done with challenge? Is it done with wisdom? Is it done with gentleness? Is it done with longing? How do you know that it is time to heed the call? Take a breath. And we will see how they show up